Tonight, the highways of Southern California have been swallowed by raging floodwaters. Countless cars were swept away like toys, while many neighborhoods sank deep beneath the rising tide. On Monday, August 25th, a surge of tropical moisture unexpectedly collided with record-breaking heat, unleashing a devastating flash flood across Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, and Imperial counties. In just a few hours, sun-scorched deserts and busy roadways were transformed into rivers of mud. Residents watched in shock as vehicles floated aimlessly along Highway 86, headlights flickering weakly under the murky water. In Palm Springs and Borrego Springs, homes and businesses were inundated, power systems collapsed, utility poles toppled, and countless families were forced to evacuate in panic.
Man, look at this shit, guys. Fucking flooded here, bro. All the cars back there. Semis, it's everything. Look at it. We're fucking stuck. Homeboy lost his car. Civic's back there. Look at it. Fucking shit, man. Nine, el carro, eh? Fuck, man. Look at my boy's car.
Rescue teams waded through chest-deep water to reach stranded drivers, many of whom had climbed onto rooftops and clung to road signs in a desperate attempt to avoid being swept away. Southern California is now facing one of the most catastrophic floods in recent memory, a disaster that turned deserts into oceans, leaving thousands of residents asking, how could it all happen so quickly? By early afternoon, the skies darkened, heavy rains poured down, and chaos began to spread. From cities to rural towns, streets turned into rivers, and highways became rushing channels of muddy water. One of the most haunting scenes unfolded on Highway 86 near the Salton Sea, where an entire stretch of roadway disappeared beneath the flood. Dozens of vehicles were stranded, headlights glowing faintly in the thick brown current. Drivers scrambled onto car roofs, waving frantically for help as the waters rose higher and higher. In Palm Springs, torrents of water surged through low-lying neighborhoods, flooding basements and tearing apart businesses. In Borrego Springs, homes were swallowed within minutes, and the local hospital was forced to activate emergency protocols as access roads vanished underwater. Helicopters rushed to airlift critically ill patients to San Diego. Power was cut across vast areas, plunging more than 12,000 residents into darkness. Families huddled together in candlelight as the sound of sirens echoed through the valley. Dozens of schools announced closures, their classrooms left underwater. For many, it felt like a nightmare. The desert they had always known had suddenly transformed into a raging sea. As floodwaters surged, panic rippled through communities. On social media, desperate pleas for help poured in. Videos showed entire families climbing onto rooftops, neighbors forming human chains to rescue one another from submerged cars, and entire streets filled with cries for help. Emergency hotlines were overwhelmed by thousands of calls, stranded motorists, elderly residents trapped in flooded homes, collapsing rooftops under the weight of relentless rain. In Palm Desert, firefighters waded waist-deep to carry children to safety, while police redirected traffic away from intersections that had become impassable lakes. The state mobilized massive resources. More than 300 emergency personnel from the California Office of Emergency Services, FEMA, local fire departments, and the National Guard rushed in. Helicopters braved sheets of rain to evacuate hospital patients, while military trucks pushed through floodwaters to deliver food and supplies to stranded neighborhoods. Governor Elena Martinez declared a state of emergency, unlocking federal disaster funds and deploying state resources. In a televised address, she said, "This is a moment to show resilience. We will rebuild, but first, we must protect lives." For many residents, this flood was not just a headline, it was a fight for survival. In the town of Brawley, Nurse Maria Gonzalez was trapped in her car for more than 3 hours before rescuers arrived. It was like watching the desert turn into an ocean, she recalled, describing how she climbed onto her roof as the water rose around her.
All the cars back there. Semis, it's everything. Look at it, we're fucking stuck. Homeboy lost his car. Civic's back there, look at.
People know what's happening, right?
In Palm Springs, families had only minutes to flee. Parents carried children through waist-deep water, while neighbors supported elderly residents who could not escape on their own. Entire blocks fell silent, save for the roar of rushing water and the distant wail of sirens. At Borrego Springs Community Hospital, medical staff fought to keep critical patients safe as floodwaters cut off access roads. Helicopters lifted patients one by one, in scenes that looked more like a war zone than a desert town. These stories reveal the true cost of disaster, not just homes lost or power lines destroyed, but lives disrupted, memories washed away, and entire communities forced to start over from nothing. As the floodwaters begin to recede, another challenge emerges: the staggering cost of recovery. Early estimates suggest damages reaching hundreds of millions of dollars. Roads and bridges across Riverside and Imperial counties will require months of repair. Farmers in the Coachella Valley report severe crop losses, threatening one of the region's most vital industries. For families without flood insurance, the vast majority here, the financial burden could be devastating. Many small businesses may remain closed for weeks, even months. Schools remain unsafe, and hospitals face mounting costs from evacuations and equipment damage. Governor Martinez emphasized, "We will recover, but resilience must be at the heart of that recovery." The August floods have made one truth undeniable: Southern California cannot simply return to the old normal. Without adaptation, this devastation will happen again and again. Tonight, Southern California is only at the beginning of a long road to recovery. Families are returning to wrecked homes, schools remain closed, entire neighborhoods are still buried in mud and debris. In just one afternoon, the desert was turned into a sea, cars swept away, tens of thousands without power, and thousands of lives forever changed. This flood is a harsh reminder that nature can turn the ordinary into chaos in the blink of an eye, and that our communities remain fragile in the face of extreme weather. As the waters slowly recede, one question lingers: are we truly prepared for the next disaster?
Nature doesn't send us warnings, but we can. Floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and storms are striking harder and faster than ever before. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are joining a movement to stay alert, stay informed, and helps others to do the same. Hit the subscribe now, because the next disaster won't wait, and neither should you. Be ready and be aware.
In the early hours of August 24th, Japan was rocked by two powerful earthquakes in quick succession, leaving behind devastation and chaos across wide areas. Emergency sirens echoed through major cities as panic gripped millions of residents. The first quake, measuring 7.2 magnitude on the Richter scale, struck off the country's eastern coast. Within seconds, skyscrapers swayed violently, roads cracked open, and subway lines came to a sudden halt. Residents rushed out of their homes, many still in their sleepwear. Live coverage from NHK and Fuji News showed entire neighborhoods plunged into darkness as power grids collapsed. Hospitals went into full emergency mode, treating injuries ranging from minor cuts to severe fractures. Less than an hour later, disaster struck again. A A second quake, even stronger at 7.6 magnitude, hit a nearby prefecture, amplifying the destruction and confusion. The Japan Meteorological Agency issued an urgent warning, calling on residents to stay away from damaged buildings and brace for potentially dangerous aftershocks. Even Tokyo, far from the epicenter, felt the violent shaking. The iconic Shinkansen bullet train services were suspended, while major airports halted flights pending safety checks. International outlets like CNN and BBC reported overturned vehicles, collapsed wall, and terrified citizens flooding the streets. Several bridges and expressways sustained structural damage, complicating rescue efforts. In rural areas, traditional wooden houses suffered extensive destruction, while modern high-rises endured with only minor damage. Authorities also warned of landslides in mountainous regions where unstable soil could collapse at any moment. Emergency responders, firefighters, police, and the military were deployed nationwide. The Japanese Red Cross mobilized thousands of volunteers, delivering relief supplies and establishing temporary shelters in schools, gymnasiums, and community centers. Citizens were urged to prepare emergency kits with food, water, and medical supplies. On social media, millions shared shocking videos of skyscrapers shaking, glass raining onto busy streets, and fires igniting from gas leaks. The Japanese Prime Minister addressed the nation, assuring citizens that every available resource was being deployed for rescue and relief. Experts from NHK and Reuters emphasized that while Japan is one of the most earthquake-prepared nations in the world, the scale of these twin quakes was so severe that even veteran first responders were caught off guard. As night fell, affected communities braced for more aftershocks. Emergency lighting and backup power generators kept hospitals and critical infrastructure running. Recovery will take weeks, if not months, as rescue teams continue searching through the rubble. These back-to-back earthquakes are not only a natural disaster, but also a stark reminder of humanity's vulnerability against the forces of nature. Yet, in the midst of chaos, the resilience, solidarity, and calm determination of the Japanese people shine once again.
Nature doesn't send us warnings, but we can. Floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and storms are striking harder and faster than ever before. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are joining a movement to stay alert, stay informed, and helps others to do the same. Hit the subscribe now because the next disaster won't wait, and neither should you. Be ready and be aware.